Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Remember when Donald Trump said that they aren't bringing their best? That was, of course, key context that they omitted from his elevator speech, his infamous Trump Tower elevator speech, or rather, coming down the golden escalator speech. Whatever, you guys know what I mean. You know, for some reason, that was a part that the left really didn't want to include in their coverage. And maybe, just maybe, it's due to the fact that that might be a little bit of a soft point, a little bit of a sensitive point for the left at large, because I guess that statement or that sentence also seems to apply to them. And all of their ideological representatives in the media, they're a bunch of frickin' clowns. They're not exactly bringing their best. And that, of course, is why we have this ongoing segment. The left says the craziest things. Let's take a look at what these leftist nutcases in the media are saying this time. This one brought to you guys by Fox and Friends with Greg Gutfeld, Jesse Waters, and crew. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. Apologies in advance. You're about to hear one of the most disingenuous talking points ever uttered from a human being.
January 6th was encouraged by Donald Trump.
When he said peaceful?
When he said, go down to the Capitol, I'm going to be with you.
Be peaceful?
All of his...
Why do you avoid that?
Because, Greg, that does not erase the months of rhetoric where he was encouring groups to protest the results of this election. No.
You hate the words that
he took away the... You hate a lot...
No, I'm actually saying what he said.
You ignore many of the words he said. And to bring this to today, though, the comparison... One of the reasons these protesters are out in the streets is Joe Biden is standing squarely by Israel. Joe Biden, John Fetterman, Tony Blinken, these are the people in the administration who are standing so squarely by Israel that a lot of progressives are angry at them. So the difference is Donald Trump encouraged political violence from his supporters on January 6th.
No, he didn't.
And Joe Biden is doing something these protesters are angry about because he's refusing to back away from Israel. And the one question he answered when he gave remarks last week was, have these protests changed your policy? And he said no.
I don't think Trump ever encouraged people to get in other people's faces.
He
Democrats
did.
No, he didn't.
100%.
Show me that.
What are we going to dub this? CNN brain? MSNBC brain? Where leftists essentially formulate talking points and arguments based on totally false premises, omitting key facts, or in this case, a key portion of the relevant quote, Donald Trump told people to march to the Capitol. Well, I think you're missing an important point there. You know, the part where he said peacefully, oh, well, that doesn't matter because of his pattern of behavior. Could you imagine being a defendant sitting in a courthouse and you hear from the prosecution side, well, it doesn't matter if there's evidence exonerating this individual, Your Honor. Just look at the whole history. What history exactly? Well, you know, this person is someone that we don't like, Your Honor, and they've said things that are spooky and offensive. Therefore, disregard the exonerating evidence and just apply a twisted, corrupt, biased, vengeful approach and simply just find the person guilty because we find that person to be reprehensible. You know, it doesn't get any more dishonest than that. The left operates within a world of hoaxes and lies, lying by omission. Donald Trump called white supremacists very fine people with his very fine people on both sides hoax. They still say this. But then, of course, when you add the relevant context that Donald Trump explicitly said, and I'm not referring to the neo-Nazis and white supremacists, and when you confront some of these people with the clear facts, with the clear record, they double down on the dishonesty. Absolutely insane. And this isn't just any leftist. This is a leftist on Fox News, someone who has supposedly made it to the upper echelons of political analysis and commentary, and this is the argument in 2024 that Donald Trump incited a violent insurrection, that he sent his MAGA Chud army to the steps of the Capitol to overthrow the U.S. government by telling people to peaceably assemble and peacefully and patriotically have their voices heard. How many times do we have to freaking fact check the exact same thing? A little bit of a broken record here, but come on, how many times do we need to clarify the record?
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
How many times have we fact-checked this, yet these people continue to go on? Look, I'm just going to say it. Only bad people act like that. Only truly dishonest, disingenuous, horrifying liars would act in this manner. But of course, it's not just the lies by omission. It's not just the purposeful twisting of context. No, of course, it goes even beyond that. It's also the clear, again, extremely dishonest double standard. Well, Joe Biden didn't tell anybody to go protest. They're protesting against him. That's the clear differentiating factor between left-wing protests and right-wing protests. Give me a break. You know, leftists go on and on about how Donald Trump was so slow on the day, on January 6th, to condemn the violence. It took him an hour to release a message. Oh, an hour, you say. Interesting. It took Joe Biden over 100 days in the summer of 2020 to release a totally pathetic, weak condemnation of political violence, not to mention his vice presidential candidate, his then vice presidential candidate, launched a frickin' bail fund to get criminal rioters out of prison. The country was being burnt down to the ground by leftist agitators, and Democrats were fundraising to get them out of jail, to put them right back on the streets to reoffend, to do it again, to burn another neighborhood down to smither frickin' rains. Oh, but there's a clear distinction between Donald Trump and the Democrats. Yeah, it's just not the distinction that leftoids pretend it is. It's quite the opposite. Donald Trump has a track record of calling for the rule of law. Trump was the guy trying to send in the National Guard to protect cities, to protect neighborhoods from radical, out-of-control left-wing terrorists. And you leftoids are the ones who are saying stuff like, it's reparations, or it doesn't matter if buildings and businesses get trashed and burnt down to the ground or looted. They all have insurance. That's what you guys were saying. But Donald Trump apparently is the one who incited a mob. He incited a mob by doing what exactly? Let's let the genius left-wing commentator speak for herself.
Go down to the Capitol. I'm going to be with you.
Be peaceful.
All of his.
Why do you avoid that?
Because, Greg, that does not erase the months of rhetoric where he was encouraging groups to protest the results of this election.
Donald Trump incited violence by calling on his voters to protest what they believed and what they perceived was an illegitimate process, and that's apparently grounds for incitement to violence. No, that's calling for protests. And again, calling for people to peacefully and patriotically assemble so they can have their voice heard. Only a horrifyingly dishonest leftist can be this much of a liar, this much of a hypocrite, can apply this much of a dishonest double standard. Good on Greg Gutfeld for interjecting with the facts here. Holy frickin' moly. Leftists say the darnest things, now don't they? Anyways, that's pretty much the video. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.